true. I mean, like, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I can remember when I left high school, my dream was to actually become a police officer. But
Oh,
I've told, yes, yes, I've told this story a few times, but I'd like to tell it as well. So, my initial dream was I'll become a police officer. Yeah, I was inspired by shows like Miami Vice, like Hill Street Blues. What else was there? So many movies that you see coming out where the good guy's a police officer, and you think, oh, he's doing the right thing. Is this what it's like in real life? And someone goes, it's not all. It's not that. It's cracked up. Be halfway into the course I was studying, I was like, I don't know about doing this. This is kind of boring now. I'd rather play a police officer on TV. Not only would I get paid more, but you'd have to get the risk of getting shot at every day. Because back then in England, back in the right when the early 2000 kicked in, it was difficult. Police officers were getting attacked a lot, you see. So I thought, I'm not going to risk this. Not going to risk this. Just going to do something that I feel like, which is a better calling. And then I studied acting, and then I studied writing, directing, and over time I've become a podcaster as well. So, I appreciate all this as well, because if I hadn't done that, I never would have met a living legend like yourself today. I never would have met great people like Jeff Speakman, Ian Jacklin, Chris Casamassa, Maurice Crump, Ron Hall. The list. I hope the list keeps building up as time goes on. I really do. And again, I'm just eternally grateful that God, in His great infinite wisdom, has pushed me into this right direction, because I feel like this was my better calling. And I'm glad we are really here. I feel like I've known you for a very long time, Art. Sincerely, it feels that great connection there, brother.
thank you, brother. And you're right. I do believe that. I really believe that not to be preachy, but I believe that God put within us this desire and this passion, and also the ability, if we can stick with it, and stick it out, the ability to fulfill. That's why. Quick story. I saw this film many years ago. Not when it came out, but afterwards. It was called Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know if you're
Oh
familiar with
yeah,
it
I've
because it
heard of
was
it.
in
Yeah,
London.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Right. So I saw this film, and I was so blown away, so blown away by it. And and years later, when the actor from the film, Ted Neely, he started reprising the role on stage.
Oh
So I
yeah.
started seeing him, and it was blowing me away. And I ended up meeting him. And I swear to you, brother, it was amazing because he had done that role for so long that he embodied it. It was almost like talking to Jesus. It's like, wow, he was so gentle, so humble. And the one thing, the two things that I walked away from when I was asking him about, there's a role in there where Jesus is talking to God, asking him at the Garden of Gethsemane. He's asking him, God, why do you put this burden on me? And
Yeah.
I asked him, how do you approach that? And he said, you know what, Art, when I'm in performing, I'm not Jesus, Son of God, talking to God. I'm a son talking to a father. And that blew me away. I got so heartfelt because I'm a family man. And it's like your son talking to your father, asking him, Father, why are you torturing me? Why are you hurting me if I love you? And so it changed my whole vision on so many things. And the last thing, I had him sign my book, and he said, "Art, honor to meet you, pleasure." And the last thing he put was, "Keep living the dream," and that stuck to me. Live the dream,
That is
brother. You're
sweet.
living the dream. I'm living the dream. That's why we're here. We're living our
That
dreams,
is,
brother.
it is, it is. I mean, this is again, like I said before, this is a dream come true to talk to you, and I just can't wait to see the look on all the people's faces. Be like, "Oh, Camacho's on his show now. That's tick off the list," and tick off the list instantaneously, and and I'm so sorry. Again, this is one of the pinch me moments. The story you still can't get over it, but eventually, as the interview progresses, we'll be able to do that. So, one quick question, because obviously, like I say, when you hear that saying, first expression counts. When I first saw you in Firepower, I'm sorry I keep bringing it up because it was one of my
I love
favorite movies it's one of the best movies I've ever, especially it's got some of the best on-screen martial arts I've ever seen, and like just mind-blowing actors, mind-blowing martial arts, great choreography, and again, you guys are you show stealers, you and Gary Daniels, sincerely. But how did you get casted in that role, and how did you come up? Did you come up with the name Viper, or was it already written in the script?
No, they had PM Entertainment had a multi-picture deal with Gary Daniels.
Oh yeah,
And at that time, PM Entertainment, that company, I owe them everything. Joseph Murphy, he gave me my first stunt fighting gig, my Screen Actors Guild card, my
Oh
first
yeah.
directing gig. I mean, I gave me my career, and I was doing so many films for them. I was kind of their in-house fight choreographer, and they said, "Hey, you know what? Do you want to do this role?" And it's a it's a smaller role, but you get to choreograph, you get to play fun, and that's how it came about. And working with Gary was amazing because I tell you, all his fights, I choreographed everything except Gary. Gary has a unique style that he came and he did, anything 99.9%. I don't even know if I had any input, but I really admired what he brought to the table. He was amazing to work with. I worked a lot with, obviously, with Gerald Okamura, all the other fighters, and Jim Hellwig.
Oh yeah.
Jim,
Yeah. He's
can't
a
tell you.
behemoth. He was.
But you know what? It's so scary because in film, when you're doing headbutts, you're normally, you got a safe distance when you're butting somebody's head, and
Yeah.
you offset. Either you go in front or you go really offset. But the wrestlers, they are scary sons of guns, man. They go all out. He did a headbutt. You're not, and big hair, and my guy almost peed in his pants. Because Big Jim gets him. I kid you not. And he came, within a fraction of the guy's head, man.
I'm not surprised. No,
Kid you
but what do
not,
you
then you see the
expect?
big hair coming at you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
The hair covers it all,
scary.
and yeah, I mean, like, because obviously I was a huge fan of him. I was a huge fan of pro wrestling growing up, and Ultimate Warrior, without a shadow
Yeah.
of a doubt, was my one of my all time favorite wrestlers. I mean, was he intimidating in real life as he was playing the swordsman, or was he just he'd be cool, calm, relaxed, say, "Come on, let's go have food, let's go grab a drink or something"? Was he like that?
No, he was like that. I told you, he was like a big kid, a big teddy bear. Intimidating when you see him, the massive size.
He was,
But,
yeah,
uh, but, but a big teddy bear, we would, we'd hang out and have fun and you see his big hearty laugh, moving around. And he
yeah.
was a teddy bear, sweetest guy, but just very, very intense. And like I told you, he didn't have martial arts training. However, when I went to his house, I kid you not, he would hit the big heavy bag, and that thing would just
Oh
go
yeah,
flying
I'm not
because just the
surprised.
sheer force, the sheer
Uh,
force. And I
uh,
miss him dearly.
Yeah,
Miss him
mate,
dearly.
well, I like to do a prayer for him as well. Then, so may he rest in peace, and may his family, be given strength to get through their hard times as well. Amen. I'd like to do that for him. Yeah, I like to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, it's part of my culture. Like I said, another thing about the culture and my faith is that whether you knew somebody or didn't know somebody, whether you're the same faith as you or not the same faith as you, keep them in your prayers because at the end of the day, we're only here for a temporary basis. But you got to make the most of it while you're here, and you've got to always keep people in your prayers, keep them in your thoughts, and always send best wishes for everybody out there. Amen to that.
Amen. Amen to that,
Amen.
brother.
So
I'm with you. And
thank
you
you.
know what? The parts, I want to say, what's really, to me, what really inspires me daily is that I've been traveling to several countries throughout my career, half the states in this country. And what I find is that the martial arts bridges all gaps.
Yeah,
You could be your politics, you have all your whatever nonsense you have, but the martial arts brings us together.
indeed.
That's
Indeed, it does. Yeah, because there's one thing every martial arts instructor I trained with myself, they always said the same thing: respect each other and only use martial arts for self-defense. It's not used for aggressiveness, but unless the time comes to get aggressive, then be aggressive. But only everything happens for a reason and right place, right time. That's just where
right.
it comes down to. And so one other question that I wanted to ask you was the Camacho experiment. How did you come up with that? That was just so. It's just I watched a little bit of it, and honestly, that was just some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Sincerely, how did you come up with that?
My brother, I tell you, I had known the producers at El Rey Network for years, and there was
Yeah,
never a fit. I always wanted to work with them. I just didn't know how. And when COVID hit, they had this contract. I think they wanted to develop a few shows, and a lot of
yeah,
people were doing these Zoom kind of. And they called my partner Michael Matsuda and I up. They said, "Hey, we want to do a show with you." At first, I thought they just wanted me to produce and direct. I said, "Fantastic." Then they go, "No, we want them with Latino themed." I said, "You know what? Let me start casting a Latino host." They go, "No, no, we want you to do it." I go, "Me? I don't know a thing about it." what you're doing right now. It's like, are you crazy? They go, no, no, we think it'll be good. Just give it a spin, martial arts, and you're the perfect fit. You're Latino, you're a filmmaker, you're a martial artist. So anyway, so I ended up doing it. But I did tell them, I said, look, we're going to do this, but even though it's COVID, I'm not going to do it if it's going to be Zoom. I'm going to do it
Yeah,
live. So I'll talk to my friends who wants to go in live, we'll do it safe, but live. And number two, I thought, how can I distinguish myself out in all these podcasts and all that stuff? And I thought, you know what? By having guys trying to beat the shit out of me. You can't have, how many hosts go out there like you and I are talking, all of a sudden guys are attacking you. That's every
yeah,
show I open was someone trying to beat the hell out of me, and it was fun. That was so much fun. But that's how they
yeah.
came
No,
about. They did 6 episodes, I think it was, for that one season. That
yeah.
was so much fun,
Will you?
you
Is there any
know.
plans on bringing it back anytime or anything?
They have called me since then. They might be regrouping at Array Network, and they definitely want to have that as one of their shows because they really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. They thought the ratings were good, and just the uniqueness of it. I mean, how many hosts do you know, you personally know, that they go out there and get the shit kicked out of them? you know?
Not many. I think I've just met one now. That's yourself.
Yeah, come on. Boom, boom. Guy's choking me. I'm hitting him with sticks. I'm
Well, that'll be awesome. That would. I'd definitely be first in line to watch that one for you, brother. Thank you very much. So you
Thank you.
recently you've come up with you've done the movie, you've directed the movie called The Wrecker. How did you come by? If you could please explain a little bit to those who haven't seen it yet. And how did you go by getting the job to direct that movie? Because it looks absolutely. I've seen the trailer so many times. It looks
Oh, thanks.
absolutely epic.
No, thank you. It's so funny because I did a film called Ruthless with Dermot Mulroney a couple years ago,
Oh
and it
yeah, I
did
was going
real
to ask you
well.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, that one was amazing. And we became friends. I mean, Dermot is a sweet guy, and
he is. He is. Yeah.
that one, Hulu in the States, it went to number one on Hulu and stayed in the top 10 for a few weeks. And those same producers were doing The Wrecker. And here's a funny story, and I always still rib them,
Oh,
just like you
please,
do.
please.
Them, 'cause these guys told me, I wasn't not considered in consideration to direct The Wrecker because they felt I was too old fashioned. Art's been around; he's too '90s, and we want a modern look. We want. I said, I respect that. I totally respect that. So then they gave me the script to look at. My manager said, look, at least let Art just look at the script. So I looked at the script and I thought it had potential. I said, these are the holes. And I gave them my take and they loved the take. They said, great, we love your vision. Ended up hiring me. And one of the biggest things in the film, number one, the record of the vehicle was amazing, but also the
Yeah,
whole approach to action is the '90s kind of action. We don't have CGI. We have guys fighting. We have real
indeed.
blanks, you know? And so the thing that they thought was a detriment, was something negative, turned into a positive. Everybody loves the old style fighting. Everybody loves that real fighting. No more CGI, no cables. We're
Yeah.
just boom, boom, boom.
That's the
That's
best.
what's
That is the absolute best. I mean, like I say, you can't get anything better than that. Chris Casamassa said the exact same thing when I was interviewing him. He said when he did Mortal Kombat, there was no CGI, there was no wire work. It was just full raw, savage, hard hitting action and everything. And that's what sold Mortal Kombat so well when it came out. And if he's listening, a big shout out to him as well. But yeah, it's true. When I watch action movies these days, as a film lover myself, when you watch them these days, yeah, they're great, but they just miss that authenticity of what the 90s captured in the beginning because they relied on pure instincts. They relied on actual visualization. They're not like, okay, I'll leave it here and I'll just let somebody design it and everything. No, it came from the mind. It was the action of the mind that transitioned it correctly onto screen. And that's what made them all work. So you look at it and it's like, yeah, this is realistic. This could actually happen.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so funny. Dermot paid me a really good compliment when he told me because he's used to working with big studio films. Dermot's a great actor, and
Oh, he is.
and he said I'm used to having a director for the film. Then they send me to a second unit with the stunt coordinator, choreographer, and different stuntmen working out the fight action or action in my films. And he said, "But you're doing it all." I trained him. I trained him privately. I trained him personally. I choreographed his fights. I shot his fights. I mean, that's in my blood. You can't get that out of me, man. And then I
You got,
directed all the dramatic scenes, which are very strong dramatic scenes. Because
yeah,
here's the thing people forget is that when you're doing fight action, it's not just kicking and punching. You're telling a story. You got to
indeed.
feel the emotional expression. So I'm always into that a lot in terms of not only is the punch good, forget the punch. The punch can be sloppy, but if you feel it in your body, in your face, bam, that's it. And so there's very little difference between directing action and directing drama. To me, it's one and the same.
Indeed, it is because, like I say, you've come from, like you said, you come from all aspects of filmmaking. You're a martial artist, you're an actor, you're a film director. So when you have somebody who knows what they're doing exactly every single step of the way, every actor is in great hands. They know, like, well, I've got. It increases their faith in the production itself, doesn't it? Because they have somebody who knows everything from A to Z.
Yeah. And you know what? When we did the record, again, Harvey Keitel paid me such a
Oh
high
yeah,
compliment.
legend.
So, to me, it's like, my God. I mean, this, to me, I bow to him. I mean, Reservoir Dog, all these films, he did more
Oh yeah,
Scorsese, group directors, but he
yeah.
really showed a lot of respect for me and a lot of love. And it was felt very, very good. I mean, Harvey, you know, Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo's another guy.
Oh, I love
Machete.
Danny. Machete.
God.
I remember him mainly from Heat. And if he's listening, cops all over me like a cheap suit. I love that line so much from Machete. And yeah, Danny
That's
Trejo. I would love to get him come on my show. Danny, if you're listening, brother, there's an open invite for you. It'd mean a lot to me. I've been a fan of yours for many,
he's
many
you
years.
know he's a lovely, lovely human being.
He
Him,
seems it.
the whole cast. I mean, from Tyrese to Mina Savari, Chad Michael Collins, the whole cast was just amazing. And Nico, who the star is, and he's the one
Oh yeah.
that created the concept. Again, he gave it his all. I pushed him, even though he was the one responsible, one of the producers on the show. I didn't care. I said, Nico, I'm going to treat you just like I do my students. I'm going to beat the shit out of you, but at the end of the day, we're going to have a great.
Well, that was nice of you to tell him up front, and that you're gonna get
Up
your
front.
backside, yeah, you're gonna get your backside kicked,
Yeah,
so be prepared for it and everything. So,
that's right.
yeah, so I bet if I get Harvey Keitel on the show, I'll probably have to ask him how he likes his coffee. I hope he says lots of cream, lots of sugar, like from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
Spray some of that gourmet and
exactly.
stuff. Classic movie. That's one of
I'm
my
telling you,
favorite movies of all time.
man.
It indeed is, isn't it? And okay, so what was it like working with big stars like, say, Chad McQueen? I mean, you knew who he was because obviously his father was an absolute legend, Steve McQueen. And what was it like working with him on? Did he have a martial arts background prior to doing Firepower?
A little bit of martial arts background, but with him we doubled. We doubled so for the master, then brought him for a lot of close-ups. He was a good guy. He was a great guy to work with. I really enjoyed him as a person. And again, his on-screen talent was great. And every now and then I would get geeky and ask about his dad and Bruce Lee and stuff because I'm still a fan. Even when I did a film years ago called Final Payback, we
Oh
had
yeah.
John on that film. And I was like, the day one, I brought all my posters and my Enter the Dragon memorabilia. Here, sign it for me.
Come on, Roper, sign that.
That's right. Whoop. But I tell
Yeah,
you, man,
and you've also worked with the legendary kickboxing champion Don the Dragon Wilson. You've worked with him quite a few times. You've worked with Lorenzo Lamas and everything. Because I
yes,
remember in Final Impact, because Gary Daniels is in that as well. So is Michael Worth. And Michael
yes.
seems like I saw one interview with Michael. He seems like a really nice guy. And Gary, like I say, yeah, Gary's. I blame the two of you at the same time for becoming a fan of both of you. So you both get the blame for it, but in a good way. In a good way.
There you go. Can't say enough good about Gary. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy, good screen presence, physically. I'm telling you, man, I don't hold a candle to his fitness regimen. It's amazing. Guy's
I've
amazing.
seen it. I follow him on Instagram. I mean, a guy for his age, he still does. He's got incredible flexibility, better than people half his age. And I have to be honest with that. And he's just a one mind blowing martial artist.